Let's take some moments to breathe in through our heart and soul conscious, to really visualize those who are in urgent need right now. Those little ones who are put into situations that they didn't ask to be in. It wasn't their fault, but they were given birth to. And they have needs. And each of us are really important. And I want each of you to acknowledge that each of us are important. And we have such a beautiful experience here in this one planet that teaches us and educates us to be integrative, because within this womb planet there is water, and the water kisses the earth, and the earth kisses the water, and the air kisses the land and the waters, and they even vaporize and become beautiful rains and storms, and a lot of sacred nourishment integratively. The sun kisses our womb planet in ways that helps you to eat, and the ones that you eat to eat, for those who are carnivoric. So I want you to acknowledge that. Look at that beautiful red flag there telling you the way to survive is integration. And then you look at your bodies, and you see that your bodies, your vessels, have parts of them that don't look like each other. Like the eyes resemble each other, the ears, the fingers, the toes, depending on some folks. But there's certain body parts, like on the inside, the lungs, the liver, the heart, they don't look identical, but they're working together. The red and the white blood cells, they don't look identical, but they're working together to create the functionality of the vessel. So we look at these obvious red flag signs that integration is imminent for survival. War is not part of that. Integration is, peace is, coexistence is. When we put down the weapons and we lift up our hands together and our hearts to forgive, to release, and to start anew, then we change the world together. We create a coexistence so strong that there is no option to battle, because there's nothing to fight over or for. Beings just want to exist. They feel to exist. Does a butterfly ask to dominate you when it lands upon you, or does it just appreciate you? We must learn. We have to exist in a coexisting way. It is not a battle to love each other. The battle is the illusion. It is the distraction from what is now. What is imminent is peace. What is imminent is coexistence. What is imminent is love, survival in a coexisting way. And when you want to rise together, to unite and love each other, to unite in a way that's beyond the devastations, because that is not all of their faults. You have to acknowledge that. Okay, so for example, here's another one. Imagine that somebody sneezes, okay, intentionally to get you sick, just like in your face, like achoo. There's an accidental one and there's an intentional one. So the intentional one sneezes intentionally to try and get you sick. Oh, they'll wipe their nose and they'll try and put it on things that you touch. And then that virus somehow, and some of you, not everyone, may attack certain areas of your body. And you feel that, and you feel what inside? You feel frustrated, possibly because you acknowledged, especially if that individual intentionally said that they did that on purpose, okay? And it's not everybody who was around them who got them sick. It's that one individual who intentionally decided to do that to you. Not everybody in that whole collective, because I guarantee that maybe they got sick on accident by somebody else, somebody else, way down the line that they didn't even meet yet. And it's one of those situations where you go to the doctor, and it's just like, or in the hospital, and there's just different things that are not always to do with you and not to do with them, although somehow, because that one individual was impacting you, that you may have decided that you're frustrated with the others who got them sick too, and it doesn't have to do with them. Does it make sense? So detach yourself from the situations. Detach yourself from the illusions of what others may seek for you to get angry at and frustrated at. The news channels are directed to cause what? Emotions. I've been on the news multiple times in good ways. It's not bad ways. Well, not really like the great. Some of them were good, yeah. But I've been on the news. I've been like on television and newspapers, and the way stories are written is not always the way that things are or the ways that they seem, but they do it for the story, you know. And it's not always that some higher up told them to do it that way. It's that they do it for the story, to get viewers. It's part of the entertainment industry. It's a business. And though they do have those who do encourage certain types of things, I think that it's important for you to acknowledge that if you're getting frustrated because of others who you have no contact with, you have absolutely no idea why those wars are happening. You have no clue. You think that they're going to tell you? You think that they want you to know the deepest, darkest secrets? They're not. They know what they're saying on the hot mics. They do that on purpose. You know, it's leaking information. It's part of the plan. And it's not all of them who do it on purpose. There's some of them who have. And it doesn't really matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because you are not paying attention to the fine details if you're getting angry and mad at each other because of other people's wars, because of other distractions, because of other disruptors. Those are not your realities. Your realities are what you have going on at your house, within your own family. If your family has been affected, that's your reality too. If you've been affected, that's your reality too. But take notice. Please acknowledge this information. The best thing that you are supposed to do with each other and all of us together is love each other, work together, and find a calm and peaceful solution with coexisting. We each have talents. We're each in certain ways. We each have beautiful blessings and gifts that we can do. So we can coexist. Yeah, it's fine. My visions and dreams have shown me places that were blown up, places you wouldn't even imagine possible. And then I've also seen places where there's tent cities, where they have like multiple beings inhabiting certain spaces and tent locations in the midst of all of that upheaval. I have communities that I'm working on. I have global off-grid locations and plenty of land to build on and co-create on and create. Like I have these visions. I've had them my whole life, more than this incarnation, always. And I honestly feel that there's a moment coming when you have to learn how to gather your seeds, gather your composts, get little pots if you can, just so that they can get started. So you have food when you get from point A to point D, to point Z or F, or wherever you're going to. Like, you know, like it's not going to be an easy journey for some who have no vehicles, because you have electric vehicles and they will turn off when the grid shuts off. There are storms coming. You know how they put the cables underneath the land? Well, when those floods rise and there's different earthquakes, it's going to cause electrical executions if you're not careful. Water and electricity, what does that do for some? And I honestly see those, like I was hoping that that wasn't going to happen, because it was before they started to put the cables in the ground that I had that dream. That was in 2012 and or something like that, 2000 something maybe. But it was maybe 2012, 2013. But I remember seeing my mom on a boat, seeing my nephew who's in the army, just seeing buildings broken and shattered. I have visions of places that folks move to along the waterways and the mountains, and they hang the laundry, and there's whole communities of those who just were wanderers. And I have visions of the schools being utilized as places to feed masses, that they have people sleeping in the hallways of the schools, different types of individuals, that they had hordes of groups that would just leave those places and go out together to look for their loved ones that they couldn't find, and then to go find more food. Visions of the gates of heaven. And I've seen heaven because I flatlined and came to life again like more than once, and I've seen those, I've seen the gates, but it was a different kind of gate. It was like a waiting area. And I remember like eventually I found like huge mansions, and there were just kids in them. Like the kids somehow like ended up there together, teens, kids, preteens, and they were running out of food. They only had a